Welcome back to Noise News.
We have missed you all, and we've been working on stories for all of you.
If you're watching this, we thank you. It's always good to see people watch a show we work very hard to put out.
I hope you are all making sure you're taking breaks from your work.
I know, up in Walk-On, going outside and smelling the fresh air is my specialty.
Must be nice, Joe. Now let's get into some stories.
First, we have a story on how Corona has affected businesses, big and small. Take it away, team.
This has just been really, really problematic for most small business owners.
Hallie Sittig owns Classic Jewelry in Monticello, and her business are feeling the effects of the outbreak of coronavirus.
When the governor mandated that we stay at home, we closed the store completely. So we have had no customers, no business, nothing since for 2 weeks now.
The coronavirus pandemic isn't just affecting people physically, it's affecting their business too. Without a way to gain revenue through in-person business owners like Hallie are struggling to make revenue.
You can't have zero cash flow and be able to pay your people. I still have to pay rent. I don't have money coming in for that. Nothing's changed. All of the bills I have are still there. I just don't have any money to pay them.
Hallie explains that despite what the government says, not much is being done to help small businesses.
The government has made all of these announcements that say that the Small Business Administration is offering like loans, emergency grants to be able to help small business owners. The only problem is that the emergency grant that they said was available within a couple of days of applying for it isn't actually coming through in 2 days. It'll be 2 weeks on Tuesday, and that money hasn't come through. No one is talking about the fact that, small businesses are applying for this stuff and nothing is happening.
Hallie Sittig is just one of the thousands of small business owners feeling the effect of the coronavirus.
My name is Jennifer Knapp. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I own Rise Therapy in Rogers.
The coronavirus outbreak has turned the healthcare industry virtually upside down.
We've moved all of our clients onto telehealth, and so what that means is we had to work on creating a system that would be secure and easily accessible to clients to get them the information that they needed to know how to log in and how to reach out to their therapist and to continue their sessions throughout all these changes.
The pandemic has created a whirlwind of new challenges that business owners have to overcome.
There's been quite a few challenges so far. The first part was just assessing to make sure that clients still had access to care. That meant making sure that they had access to the internet, to cell phones or laptops or things like that so they could reach their providers. And then we had to create a whole system so they could be part of our secure online system, making sure that their privacy was still protected during this process. The other part that I think has been really quite challenging is it's the first time in history that, at least in my practicing history, that providers are going through the same experience as clients, right? So clients are talking about their own anxiety and worries about this pandemic and when it will end and how their families are being impacted, while simultaneously we as providers are having our own worries and concerns.
Small business owners like Hallie and Jennifer aren't alone in the challenges they're facing. Employees for larger companies are facing their own challenges too. Doug McCoy works at Knutson Construction as a project executive.
Working from home, I would say just like myself, it's been a challenge learning new technology, implementing new ways of doing business, and working through some of those challenges.
Many employees, like business owners, are now working from home.
However, all of our construction sites are still ongoing. Everybody is working in the field. Due to the governor's classification that construction is still considered essential, all of our project sites are up and running.
Some Americans whose business has been deemed essential, however, are going to work like usual.
I do go to work every day like normal.
John Knapp works as a quality engineer at Metalcraft in Elk River, which helps manufacture medical parts for hospitals.
We have been deemed essential because of the medical equipment that we help produce.
For those Americans still going to work, the typical 9 to 5 is looking a bit different.
The maintenance department now goes through the shop, wiping down all commonly touched surfaces like doors, doorknobs, the lunchroom tables, etc. In addition to that, everybody has to be mindful of cleaning their own areas.
We have implemented precautions for cleaning after every break, and also now have implemented everyone on the project sites are required to wear masks to try to help minimize that, but we are still focusing on the 6 feet social distancing to the greatest extent possible.
The coronavirus is also having a devastating effect on Americans' job security. As of April 16th, nearly 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment, and that number only seems to be growing. In these dark times, where many Americans are jobless, we must stay present and support one another.
One of the most important things is to sort of bring back our thinking into the present moment instead of the future-oriented what if and the how. It's more about staying present, staying connected, reaching out and supporting one another and talking to one another, not sitting in that isolation, and really, really sort of not letting your brain control the fear of what's next.
The only thing Americans can do is hope for the best and persevere through these hard times. This has been Elizabeth McCoy and Zachary Knapp, Noise News.
Thanks for that story, guys. I hope those businesses that are struggling make it through this. Stay positive, everyone.
Now let's send it over to Yusa with a story on how seniors are dealing with this current time.
The pandemic of COVID-19 has impacted every individual one way or another. For students, our usual learning environment has changed from school classrooms to our own bedrooms and living rooms. Students 11th grade and below may get the chance to return to school next year. However, that will not be the case for our seniors. Many of their last moments of high school have been taken away from them.
Well, I feel like a lot of the special moments have been taken away, like prom and now possibly graduation. Those are things that we've worked for, especially like graduation. We've worked for a long time, and now like not being able to walk across the stage is huge.
Some of the main events that many seniors have been looking forward to as their last high school moments are both Prom 2020 and the Class of 2020 graduation ceremony.
Prom, of course. I was really looking forward to prom, and unfortunately that was canceled. I got my dress and everything, but it's okay.
Prom was taken away from us officially. It looks like graduation is going to get canceled. All the big senior things that we've all been waiting for, even just being a senior.
There have also been other events that the Class of 2020 has been looking forward to that have since been postponed or canceled, both in and out of school.
I was looking forward to possibly like helping out at some different volleyball things, but now those are canceled.
Choir tour. The choir concert.
The musical was postponed because of COVID-19. We don't know if that's going to happen or if that actually was just postponed. We'll see. And then grad parties. I don't know what's happening with grad parties either.
For the Class of 2020, it's not just the school events that they will miss out on, but also the last 2 months of their senior years.
I think the biggest, hardest part about this whole thing is the fact that I'm not going to get to see these people before I go to college. And honestly, the last Friday when we were in school, that could be the last time I'm seeing half of my grade. And that really hurts too, because I was hoping for that last chance to say goodbye to them.
Many seniors are understandably upset for missing out on their final events and moments of high school due to COVID-19. However, there is still light at the end of the tunnel, and no pandemic could ever let their 13 years of education go unnoticed. This has been Yusa Stiller, your fellow senior, Noise News.
Thanks, Yusa. I hope all you seniors are doing well.
Now we have one last story for this week. Let's hear from Emily about essential workers.
COVID-19 has led to layoffs, people working from home, and unemployment. But in the midst of people's jobs changing, one role has stayed the same: the essential worker. Nurses and doctors and others in the healthcare profession are working tirelessly to treat patients and keep us all safe. But they aren't the only essential workers.
Yeah, I work at Walmart, and it's an essential.
We still all need groceries, and that requires people working in the stores. Fortunately, grocery stores have been making changes to keep stores clean and customers safe, such as making aisles one-ways.
We had to put like a big taped off line. Okay, so these are the two doors, right? Normally you could just walk in, but now you have to walk around the gates and get in, and they count the amount of people going to the store, and they also offer hand sanitizer as you're walking in. They put up signs everywhere that says, stay 6 feet apart.
Grocery stores aren't the only essential businesses staying open. Many restaurants are still open and offering takeout or delivery options.
I work at Caribou, and we're still open.
I work at Cold Stone, and yes, I am still working.
Working in a pandemic is not without its challenges, however. There are many changes having to be made.
We have to sanitize all surfaces in the lobby every 30 minutes.
We just push back all of the tables to the side so people can't sit down and stay.
We no longer offer samples.
Doing to-go orders only.
we don't have spoons and napkins available to the public, and instead we have to make sure that we give one to each customer.
We've been very vigilant about washing our hands.
And we have the choice of letting the customer swipe their credit card instead of us doing it for them.
And while some don't understand why their store is necessarily essential,
I don't think we should still be open at all.
Others get it.
People need their coffee.
Regardless of your opinion, remember to thank the essential workers, both in the healthcare and in the service industry. Emily Dopp for Noise News.
Healthcare and essential workers really are our heroes, aren't they?
They really are, Joe. I'm so glad we have such selfless healthcare workers helping everybody through this.
Well, that's all the news we have for you today, Spectrum. Stay safe.
This has been Yusa
and Joe, keeping you
in on the noise.